I've seen people saying that Formula One shouldn't have extended the Miami Grand Prix for another 10 years because the sport's audience has peaked in America, but these people are wrong, and I'll tell you why.
And no, it's not because Americans suddenly found Monaco on a map okay. Time to address the turbocharged elephant in the room. How did a country obsessed with football, tailgate grilling, and cars that only turn left suddenly become Formula One's hottest market? How did we go from "what's a Verstappen" to "bro, I'd sell my truck for Miami GP tickets"? It's not just weird, it's historic. The US, a nation once too busy watching monster trucks crush sedans, is now filling grandstands in Las Vegas wearing Daniel Ricciardo merch and calling Toto Wolff boss. Formula One isn't just surviving in the States. It's thriving like it's on a Red Bull diet. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with tire compounds and everything to do with storytelling, social media, and capitalism with a V12 engine. Let's take a high-speed tour through the 5 reasons why the US has become Formula One's most profitable playground and why F1 is loving every high-octane second of it. From parking lot Grand Prix to primetime glory, let's not sugarcoat the past. The US and Formula One used to get along like mayonnaise and coffee. There was a time, no joke, when Formula One held a race in the Caesars Palace parking lot in Las Vegas in 1982. Asphalt. Sunday. Absolutely no vibes. The drivers hated it. The fans didn't show up. America yawned. But in 2017, Liberty Media, an American company with a taste for media disruption, bought Formula One. Their master plan? Inject the sport with steroids made of Netflix, social media, influencer culture, and billion-dollar branding. Their goal wasn't just to get Americans to watch F1, it was to turn F1 into something Americans couldn't scroll past. And like a Ferrari with a caffeine addiction, it worked. Netflix's Drive to Survive. Let's be clear. Americans didn't fall in love with Formula One because of downforce or tire strategy. They fell in love because Netflix served up F1 like it was a spicy reality show with helmets. When Drive to Survive dropped in 2019, it was like keeping up with the Kardashians. But if Kim wore Nomex and had a British engineer yelling, "Box, box," from Toto Wolff's brooding leadership to Gunther Steiner's glorious profanity, every character was a meme, every race a soap opera. Viewers didn't need to understand racing. They needed drama, and F1 delivered it in flaming, carbon fiber-wrapped packages. BY 2025. The results are unreal. The US F1 fanbase has skyrocketed to over 52 million, up more than 10% from 2024. ESPN's coverage averages 1.3 to 1.4 million viewers per race, 3 times what it was in 2018. And Drive to Survive has now won 2 Emmys, proving that people will absolutely binge-watch sports if there's enough yelling in the paddock. Gen Z didn't just join the party. You want to know who's really responsible for F1's American explosion? It's not billionaire team owners or race engineers with 14 laptops. It's teenagers with TikTok. According to Formula1.com's latest fan survey, 70% of American Gen Z F1 fans engage with content daily. Not occasionally. Not when Verstappen wins again. Daily. 61% watch highlights religiously, and 73% say they want to attend a race in person. These aren't casual fans. These are F1 evangelists in bucket hats and Red Bull hoodies. Why? Because Gen Z isn't here for lap times. They're here for narratives. They want to see Charles Leclerc crying in a post-race interview, Lewis Hamilton calling out injustice, and Fernando Alonso just being, well, the cryptic legend he is. They don't care if you're a rookie or a legend. If your story is compelling, you're getting posted. 3 US Grands Prix. Here's where it gets really wild. Most countries would sell their last baguette for a single Grand Prix. The US? 3. Because apparently, if there's one thing Americans love more than racing, its excess. Austin's Circuit of the Americas is now a fan mecca, drawing over 400,000 attendees across race weekend. That's more people than live in Iceland. Miami, launched in 2022, brings yachts, celebrities, and a fake marina so photogenic it should have its own modeling contract. Las Vegas returned in 2023 with trackside blackjack, neon underglow, and a race through the strip at midnight. That's not racing. That's cinematic mayhem, and it works. Together, these events form a trifecta of high-gloss entertainment that blends motorsport with music festivals, brand activations, and food trucks that cost $40 a taco. Americans don't want just a race. They want a spectacle, and F1 delivered with a flaming halo and fireworks. Apple versus ESPN. Just when things were peaking, the US F1 media scene decided to spice things up with a full-on broadcast bidding war. ESPN has carried F1 since 2018, airing races commercial-free and gaining fan love in the process. But now, in true Apple fashion, Tim Cook and company have entered the chat.in 2025. Apple reportedly offered $150 million per year to take over US broadcasting rights, almost double what ESPN pays. That's not just a contract. That's a declaration of war. If Apple wins, races could become streaming exclusive, filled with features like interactive replays, helmet cam POVs, and Siri yelling DRS activated. Why is this such a big deal? Because it proves F1 isn't just a sport, it's now seen as premium content. Just like the NFL, the Olympics, or a Taylor Swift docuseries. Whether it's ESPN or Apple, one thing's clear: F1's streaming future in the US is going full throttle. $2.9 billion in sponsorship? We call that an American dream. Sponsorship in Formula One used to be dominated by European luxury brands, oil giants, and energy drinks. Now, it's straight-up capitalism with an American accent. In 2025, total F1 sponsorship revenue is set to hit $2.9 billion, up 35% from 4 years ago. Even crazier, American companies now top the sponsorship charts, surpassing even traditional Ferrari-funding Italians. Oracle, Coca-Cola, Google, Ford. These aren't just brands on cars. They're deeply integrated into the F1 experience. The average team sponsorship deal in 2025? About $6 million per year, which is 6 times what most US sports sponsorships pull. F1 isn't just sexy to fans. It's seductive to brands that want global eyeballs and digital storytelling. And with 3 US races, Netflix fame, and an army of Gen Z influencers posting memes of George Russell eating bananas, the exposure is priceless. Cadillac, Andretti, and the glorious return of American teams. Here's a headline from 2025 that makes F1 traditionalists spit out their espresso. Cadillac is officially entering Formula One in 2026. Partnering with Andretti Global, the US is getting its own constructor again, something that hasn't happened in decades. This isn't a one-off gimmick. It's a sign that F1 isn't just visiting America anymore. It's putting down roots and building a garage. And if that wasn't enough patriotism for you, meet Jack Crawford, the 19-year-old Texan tipped to be the next American driver on the grid. He's already causing buzz in Formula 2. And if the stars align, we could finally get something the US hasn't had since 1978, a homegrown race winner. Mario Andretti, the last one to do it, is practically polishing the champagne already. Between Cadillac's entry, Crawford's rise, and the explosion of American fans, the US is no longer F1's problem child. It's F1's golden goose. The takeaway: so why has the United States become Formula One's most important market? Simple. Because Formula One stopped just racing and started telling stories. Liberty Media didn't just put cars on TV. They built narratives. They created heroes and villains. They gave fans access to the messy, beautiful chaos that happens between the checkered flags. F1 became something Americans could talk about at brunch, post on TikTok, and wear on t-shirts. And here's the twist. It's not just a sports story. It's a masterclass in content strategy. They understood what creators, marketers, and brands often forget. Audiences don't want facts. They want feels. They want drama, connection, momentum, and when you give them that, they'll follow you to Monaco, Monza, or Miami. Formula One's rise in the US isn't just about racing, it's a full-blown cultural shift. From Netflix-fueled fandom to sold-out Grand Prix events, F1 turned America from a skeptic into its biggest stage. It's a masterclass in storytelling, identity, and emotional connection. Whether you're a creator or a brand, the lesson is clear. People follow stories, not stats. So lead with heart, create unforgettable moments, and don't be afraid to throw in some fireworks. And there you have it. Formula One didn't just enter America. It put the pedal through the floor and built a house on the strip. If you enjoyed this wild ride through horsepower, hype, and hot dogs at the paddock slam that like button like it's the Monaco chicane, smash subscribe like Verstappen smashes lap records, And don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss a story faster than a Ferrari pit stop.